Alright guys, this is Abdul with Men's Culture Magazine. I'm hanging out with Lunar Wilde here, a local Calgary band, and we're going to be just hanging out today, maybe have a couple beers, talk a little bit, talk about the future, talk about music. So yeah, we're just going to be, I just wanted to get to know you guys a little bit better, talk about your music. I've hung out with you guys a little bit, listened to your music, been to a couple of your shows. You guys are putting out some awesome sound, and I think it's really important that the Calgary market gets to see you guys and listen to you guys, and as far as the future is concerned as well. So how did you guys get together? Where, how did Lunar Wilde start?
We Lane and myself and Corbs were in a band when we were 15, and then we eventually kind of came through, and I think Ev and Lane met at university or something, and then we ended up forming another band, which didn't pan out too much. We didn't really play too many shows, but it was a good kind of learning base for Lunar Wilde. And then we kind of broke that band off, and we kind of all took some time to ourselves for a couple years. And then Dave and Ev were starting to jam together, and they were kind of doing kind of acoustic stuff. I don't know what it was, but then we started getting together more and writing some stuff. And then we kind of were like, "Hey, do you guys want to get this going again? Should we, start up a new band?" And then we thought, well, obviously, Corbs is one of the only drummers we know, and he's pretty good, so that helped out a lot.
That's good.
And then we just figured we couldn't put this thing together without Lano too. So
cool.
And that was when do you guys think that was?
A year ago.
Just about
August, pretty much.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you guys just put out your first EP in, I think, January.
February it was released.
February it was released.
Yeah.
You guys got together, started putting music together around January.
Launched the website.
Yeah.
LunarWildeMusic.com. Obviously.
Cool.
Start doing the circuit around town,
okay.
Gigs.
So overall, what do you think as far as the Calgary the music industry is concerned? What are your thoughts as far as where it is now and where it's going to be going in the next few years, and how do you see yourselves?
I think in the next 5 years, Calgary is going to turn into more of a hub like Toronto. We're going to have a lot more traffic of bands through here from the West Coast, I think. Just because, there's a lot more emerging young Canadian artists coming out, whether it's solo acts or bands, Even coming into this, a year ago, we thought it was, kind of a mundane industry in terms of volume. But now, we've met so many bands and have heard of, 10 times more. There's a bunch of us out there.
Yeah, it just takes. We just finally tapped into the cake, and now you kind of see what it's all about. There's so many good bands out there doing the same thing we are, and that's it's really awesome to see. Really,
cool.
We had no idea it was the scene that it was, right?
And you end up challenging each other, right?
Yeah.
It's you build these relationships, you play these shows, and you want them to be better, they want you to be better, and you want your success to be their success and their success to be yours, right? And if you treat it how we treat it, as a family sense, I think you can have success for everybody, and success meaning more than just being able to play music, let alone to maybe do it for a living one day.
I think Calgary's music scene is actually more hand in hand with the art scene and business scene. It's more so people helping people, but there's
a lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
too,
it's
right?
refreshing to see so many creative minds, not only in a music sense, but it's okay, we got a clothing company, and they share the same excitement that we feel about our product.
That's great.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to talk about you guys' music and what kind of music you're making, what kind of music you guys want to make in the future. I really want to also talk about you guys' influence. What brought you to where you are today? What made you pick up the guitar or those drumsticks or whatever the case may be. What are your musical influences? Dave, why did you start playing the guitar?
I kind of got a crazy story, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny you ask.
Everybody has that.
Why do you ask?
Well, I grew up with Corbin, Dev, and Lane in some way or another. We played hockey together. Grew up in the Northeast, the Dirty North, as it's known.
The hood.
And anyway, so I watched these guys do their band thing pretty much, from an outsider's position for pretty much my whole life. And I always had a guitar sat in my room, always wanted to learn it, never did. And then finally, I don't know how we got together.
Really good, really fast.
And I started going to these guys' shows, Stars and City Lights.
Yeah.
And I was their biggest fan, I was fanboy. I love girl. Fangirl. And then they kind of gave me this pity manager job. Pretty much they just wanted me to promote them.
And we wanted to carry around their shit.
And I loved doing that shit.
And he wanted to help
doing
promote
that shit. So I did, and I promoted them to radios. I did whatever I could, and during that time, their band fell apart. Maybe I'm to blame. Maybe I am.
He's the puppet master, pulling the strings, eh?
But anyway, it all works
comes
out.
out.
So they kind of take their break, and then me and Ev started getting together, and I was like, Ev, like, I'm learning how to play the guitar. Like this year, I'm learning. Like, and he came over almost every day after work, and we played for 5 or 6 hours straight.
Yeah, nice.
And he can play the guitar. Like he's been playing since what year?
12, and then yeah.
Corbin, why did you want to play drums, man?
Oh, I remember hitting on pots and pans to Raffi videos. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Raffi.
Apples and
Apples and
bananas.
bananas. And there's old Corby in the basement hitting into the pots and pans. And those blue ice cream pails you used to get from Superstore. I don't know if you remember those from the early 90s. That's an old memory of mine. And then, I don't know, as I grew up, I always had a fascination with the drums, and I always played hockey, and my parents always said, well, you're going to play hockey, and so that's what I did, and I always loved the drums, and then I decided, I'm going to buy a drum set, and I was a huge Blink-182 fan, and Travis Barker, and I wanted to be like Travis Barker, and I set my drums up like him, and I bought his drumsticks, and didn't sound like him at all. Took me a long time to even figure out a quick 1-2, but hey, it happens, and now it's been 13, 14 years, and I figure it's the best I've ever been at my instrument, and it's because of these guys too, right? It's because, again, we all challenge each other to be better, and that's kind of how I picked up the drumsticks, and no one else wanted to do it, so
there you go. Kind of got pushed into it. So if you were to describe yourself as far as style is concerned, or genre that you guys want to, position yourself in, where would you see yourself?
Well, I don't know, we've had a lot of comparisons vocally to like Modest Mouse and stuff, which was kind of cool because I never really had that on my radar, and then we had a handful of people tell us that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. It's a good band to be compared to.
So kind of like folky alternative.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
rock
think
alternative.
Yeah.
I think just like new rock. You know what I mean? It's like new rock now is like there's folk, there's this, and you could just throw so many different names at it.
Yeah.
But just new rock. We're just new. We play rock and roll, and there's a bit of everything.
There's a bit
'Cause
of
I think that's what rock and roll is, right?
Yeah.
It's a big melting pot of all these different genres.
Yeah, cool.
And that's what's so beauty. So I'd say new rock.
So as far as, where you guys are going in the future, you've got about 6 songs out now? I think about 6?
Yeah.
Is that right?
we have 6 recorded.
Yeah. 6 recorded?
Yep. And,
Yeah,
6
recorded,
released.
and we got, I don't know, probably got 20 songs probably of our own, but 5 or 6 of those are ones that we're just kind of leaving behind now because we're just writing new things and we're trying to get going. We're gonna try and take some time in December and January and really crush out a whole new set of hopefully 10, 15 songs if we can, I mean, then that way when we're gonna go record hopefully in the beginning of March, we'll have a good selection to pick from and pick songs that will complement each other and kind of the way we want to keep going forward.
Yeah. So do you guys think you play for each other, you play for the audience?
Totally the audience.
Both.
Both,
really.
I think
Yeah.
for myself as well too. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
play
try-
music, just to play music.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you guys have a specific audience that you think you cater to,
Lunettes.
or?
Anybody who can relate to our songs and likes the sound and can swing their hips.
Yeah, I think
mean,
it's
I
you've
praise
got a
them for
really
it.
like dancey vibe. Like, you want to move when you listen
Bring
to
energy to the
Yeah,
song. That's
which
kinda
is
what I
great.
And I mean, we've played shows where we've had like, upwards of like 55, 60-year-old couples dancing in front to some kind of slow shoegazy track. So it's like, as long as it's good tunes.
Yeah, see, that stuff,
if it's
that
good
makes it
tunes
worth
and
it.
good
Yeah.
vibes, people are just
Yeah.
gonna
See
dig
that?
it, right?
That's
So I mean, and plus your music's like progressing. Like as you go, and you guys are just going to obviously move forward. There's going to be changes and things, and so what's coming up in the future for you guys? What are you guys working on right now? What are the shows coming up?
We're like we said earlier, we're gonna take some time off and then get back in the studio, spring, summer,
Record
start
some
all
stuff.
over. Yeah.
Put some masters out.
Style-wise,
come
like-
hit summer 2016 with
Any
some new
big
songs.
tracks that we should be looking forward to in the future?
Start to finish, baby, the whole thing.
We're gonna
Yeah.
revamp
You're
the
gonna
whole
hear
set.
you're gonna hear new Lunar Wilde.
Okay.
But it's gonna be in our minds. It's gonna be
The
better
best
and
Lunar Wilde,
better.
Yeah,
and-
it's better.
Hopefully, I mean, we're just
Not
trying
so
to
much-
hone
So
in.
2016 is Lunar Wilde's year.
It's gonna be good.
Let's hope so.
2016 is your Lunar Wilde year for sure.
Awesome, man. Cool. All right.
Share, like, subscribe.
It's been great, guys, and I had a really good time talking to you. It was very real.
Oh, it was great.
I appreciate the time that you guys took out.
Likewise.
I see amazing things for the future. Everybody that's watching, you know, follow Lunar Wilde, lunarwildemusic.com. Follow them on Instagram. Know when their next shows are coming up. These guys put out some great music. Great looking dudes too. For the ladies, they're taken.
He's taking. He's taking girls.
We're good to look at though. We're good to look
Good
at.
to look at. But yeah, so you know, a great time. You know, appreciate the time. So it was good talking to you.